The next time you check into a hotel, think about who could be in the next room. It could be a sex offender.
They have to provide us proof of residence, either a receipt, a contract, a lease agreement. They'll call in with each address.
Registering with a permanent address as a hotel is perfectly legal. Offenders whose victims were under 17 years old still cannot stay at hotels or motels that fall within a child safety zone. And these sex offenders also have to check in with the Wichita Falls Sex Offender Registration Department on a weekly, monthly, or annual basis.
And we do. We check at all hours, sometimes in the middle of the night, and it is random. We don't tell them we're coming. We don't give them a date and time. We just show up.
News Channel 6 used the DPS website and one by one combed through all 164 sex offenders currently registered in Wichita Falls. Of those, 10 have a home address that matches the address of a local hotel or motel. 7 of those 10 sex offenders live at the Wayfarer Motel on Central Freeway. The other 3 are split between the Econo Inn on Burke Burnett Road, the Falls Motel on Old Iowa Park Road, and the Travel Lodge on Walcott Lane.
Well, they have to go somewhere. They had to live somewhere.
We spoke with a longtime Wichita Falls motel owner who wished to remain anonymous. He's been in the business for nearly 20 years and has rented rooms to many sex offenders in his 5 motels across the city. In your 19 years, have you ever had an issue with a sex offender?
Never.
He says he even felt safe raising his own children around the sex offenders at his hotels. Most of his customers don't stay just a night or two, but live there semi-permanently. So this manager gets to know his customers personally. And he even says he would rather rent a room to a sex offender than some other convicted criminals.
If the police give me a list, to the drug peoples, I'm not going to rent the room to the peoples.
But if it was a sex offender, you would?
Yes, for sure.
But this manager doesn't let his other guests know who may be sleeping in the next room, and legally, he doesn't have to.
That's a company's decision, but it is not the manager's requirement to notify any people checking in about sex offenders that reside on their property, because the sex offenders are listed on the public website of DPS.
We went door to door at the Travel Lodge asking guests if they knew nothing but a wall was separating them from a sex offender, and they were not happy.
It doesn't make me nervous. I'm pretty irritated that I was unaware. It's not something I would ever condone. Really, I don't think housing a sex offender is something that's anything moral at all.
And these two at the Wayfarer say they're considering moving after finding out a man just 2 doors down is a sex offender. They tell me they often have his child and her nieces at the house and no longer feel comfortable bringing them around. While the hotel manager we talked to says he doesn't inform guests about sex offenders, he does make an effort to give people with young children a room away from where the sex offenders are staying. The lesson here is you can't only be vigilant when it comes to your own neighborhood. You have to be aware, no matter where you are.
I think if you stay at any public, facility, you should always keep a close eye on your kids and things when you're staying in an area that you're not familiar with. But I don't think it probably puts any more risk than going to a friend's house in a neighborhood where one could be living as well.